Seth Rollins angry at Paul Heyman for reuniting with Brock Lesnar behind his back. Was Wrestle Palooza really good? Cody Rhodes gets booed after Wrestle Palooza went off air. Vince McMahon appears at WWE Wrestlepalooza. Stephanie McMahon cries at Wrestle Palooza. Jey Uso pays tribute to Jaida Parker. Did Jey Uso really get injured? Concern as Iyo Sky gets legitimately injured. Naomi confirms her WWE return date. CM Punk breaks down in tears after AJ Lee's first win in WWE in a decade. Bron Breakker nearly gets WWE canceled. Paul Heyman forced to apologize. Let's dive right in. Was WrestlePalooza really good? WrestlePalooza was a wild ride. WWE launched its ESPN era with a show that had ups and downs across 5 matches. Most delivered, but the opener fell flat. So, what was the highlight? What stole the night? Here's every match from WrestlePalooza, rated out of 5. Number 1. Cena crushed by Lesnar. WrestlePalooza started with a dud as Brock Lesnar took on John Cena in their final clash. It was supposed to be a thriller, but it turned into a one-sided beatdown. WWE took a lot of heat for this one. It felt like a shorter version of Lesnar's 2014 SummerSlam win over Cena. The Beast crushed his rival, shrugging off 3 attitude adjustments before sealing the deal with 3 straight F5s. This predictable setup with Lesnar dominating is old and tired. It was a weak way to use Cena's limited WWE time and a rough start for WrestlePalooza. Rating: 4 out of 5. Number 2. Usos fall in brutal tag chaos. Jimmy and Jey Uso teamed up again to face the powerhouse duo of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, with LA Knight as the special guest referee. This match was a wild brawl, with Knight letting weapons fly. Breakker and Reed controlled most of the fight until Jey Uso fired back. The Yeet Master nearly won with a spear and Uso splash combo, but a botched chair shot left him bloody. Breakker pounced, spearing both Usos through a propped-up table, setting up Reed's tsunami to pin Jey. This was a big victory for the Vision, leaving the Usos with plenty to figure out. The drama made it unforgettable, though the weapons felt a bit overdone. Rating: 3.5 out of 5. Number 3. Sky vs. Vaquer Steel's show. This match was set to be WrestlePalooza's pure wrestling gem, and it delivered big time. Sky and Stephanie Vaquer battled for the Women's World Championship in a thrilling display of speed and heart. Vaquer went after Sky's legs, and it paid off. Both women pulled off creative moves before Vaquer landed a flawless spiral tap to win, catching Sky after a missed over the moonsault that left her knees battered. The connection between Sky and Vaquer was electric, and WWE deserves props for showcasing it on a big stage. The clean finish pushed WrestlePalooza to another level. Rating: 4 out of 5. Number 4. AJ Lee's epic return shocks. The crowd was on fire as AJ Lee returned to the WWE ring after over a decade, teaming with CM Punk against Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch in a mixed tag match. It started with Rollins overpowering Punk for a long stretch. The action exploded when the women tagged in, after Rollins accidentally hurt Lynch while using her as a weapon. AJ looked like she never left, hitting a tornado DDT and an assisted sliced bread. She and Punk landed simultaneous Shining Wizards before AJ locked in the Black Widow. Things got messy when Rollins put hands on AJ, earning a stomp from Punk. Punk then clashed with Lynch, locking her in a sharpshooter, while AJ broke up a pin attempt with a stomp on Rollins. Lynch shoved AJ into Punk and sent Rollins crashing through the Spanish announce table, but back in the ring, AJ made the man tap with the Black Widow. This match was non-stop action packed with unforgettable moments. Rating: 4 out of 5. Number 5. Cody keeps title in messy fight. The WrestlePalooza main event saw Cody Rhodes defend his WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre in a hard-hitting but uneven match. It felt similar to Cody's title defense against Kevin Owens at Saturday night's main event last December. Referee mix-ups caused chaos. McIntyre had Cody pinned for 8 seconds, but the ref missed it. Cody sent McIntyre into an exposed turnbuckle and hit Cross Rhodes, but McIntyre kicked out. A Claymore kick in the ring wasn't enough, and when McIntyre went for another into the announce table, a ref delay caused his foot to hit the table's edge. That mistake cost him, and Cody finished him off soon after. These two can do better together, but the match was still solid. Rating: 3 out of 5. Cody Rhodes gets booed after WrestlePalooza went off air. Cody Rhodes claimed victory in WrestlePalooza's main event with a straightforward finish, leaving out the twists fans craved. Once the premium live event wrapped up, boos rained down on him for a moment. We'll break down the reason as this story unfolds. The night ended without shocks, no villain switches, and nothing to etch WrestlePalooza into memory. Folks hoped the first ESPN showcase would explode to a close. Backlash has stirred, especially from US viewers, over ESPN's new $30 fee per event, a step back from the smoother Peacock setup. Right after the broadcast faded, Cody grabbed the mic to hype WWE's fresh ESPN tie-up, and the Indianapolis fans turned on him fast with boos. Cody had to shout out the city name to win them back. Sure, as the company's top guy, Cody's role is to push the brand hard. That's why he's the hero leading the charge these days. He handles every interview and spotlight, which might explain why no one rushed to flip the title on him out of nowhere. The ESPN chapter is underway now, and it'll be a thrill to hear how viewers weigh in on the switch. Early mix-ups hit hard on which app to grab and how to tune in, but WWE covered it smartly with 3 quick spots on SmackDown ahead of Wrestle Palooza, walking everyone through ESPN Unlimited for this show and future ones. Vince McMahon appears at WWE Wrestle Palooza. The ex-WWE boss Vince McMahon popped up in a quick spot right at the kickoff of Wrestle Palooza on Saturday. He hasn't been around the company since stepping down as TKO's top exec back in January 2024. To hype WWE and ESPN's fresh team up for their first big premium live event, the show opened with a slick video montage. It traced the wild blend of sports and pro wrestling through the decades. A younger Vince McMahon showed up in the clip from his days as a sideline reporter and play-by-play guy. Back then, he rocked a thick mop of hair and a bright yellow suit while gripping that old-school Super Scope slim mic. The package crammed in tons of WWE greats and big names from way back, plus athletes who jumped into wrestling from the 1980s all the way to the 2020s. The whole thing drove home how sports and pro wrestling team up as killer entertainment. After that, Triple H stepped up to greet the WWE crowd and all the fresh faces tuning in for Wrestle Palooza. Vince McMahon marked his 81st birthday on August 24th in New York City. He got spotted grabbing lunch with a bunch of WWE folks like John Bradshaw Layfield, Gerald Briscoe, and Bruce Pritchard. That night, word is he threw a massive bash packed with now and then WWE stars. Guests rolled in like The Undertaker, Michelle McCool, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, The Miz, Titus O'Neil, Maris, and others. McMahon's daughter Stephanie and her husband Triple H skipped it because of WWE's European swing. The old chairman cut all ties after dumping his shares in April 2024. Stephanie McMahon cries at Wrestle Palooza. In a moment that caught everyone off guard, The Undertaker rolled into Wrestle Palooza 2025 with a bombshell announcement that left Stephanie McMahon sitting ringside, stunned and sobbing. The Indianapolis crowd and viewers at home were floored when The Undertaker appeared right before the main event. There was a short break between the co-main event, the mixed tag team clash with Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, CM Punk, and AJ Lee, and the final showdown between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. During that pause, The Undertaker roared in as the American Badass, cruising down on his iconic bike. He stopped at the first ring post, hopped off, and the camera caught Stephanie McMahon clapping for ages. The Phenom locked eyes with her, creating a light-hearted moment. Her face showed she had no clue what was coming. He even plopped down in the seat next to her, and she quipped that he should keep that spot warm. WWE President Nick Khan was there too. The Undertaker then asked Stephanie if she was ready. It seemed like he might be setting up a DX-style moment, but instead, he dropped the massive news. She'd be the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025. Tears streamed down her face instantly. You could see Stephanie struggling to hold it together in that heartfelt moment. She shared a warm hug with the Phenom and Nick Khan. This announcement came way earlier than usual. WWE typically waits until after the Royal Rumble or early in the year to name the first inductee. Clearly, WWE shook things up to give ESPN a huge moment for their big show. Jey Uso pays tribute to Jaida Parker. Jey Uso fought hard in a massive tag team bout at Wrestle Palooza 2025, but luck wasn't on his side. Still, in the heat of the action, he slipped in what looked like a nod to NXT's Jaida Parker. The link between Jey and Jaida is just a guess for now, so we'll keep it light. In one key moment, Jey honored his late uncle Umaga with a backside splash right to Bron Breakker's face. Right after, he struck a pose that matched NXT's Jaida Parker's signature move. And it's plain as day why folks think it was a shout-out to her. It's spot on what she does in her matches. Keep in mind, this move goes by the LeBron emote too, thanks to NBA legend LeBron James making it famous. But with Jey and Jaida both in the WWE world, it's tough not to see it as a tip of the hat to the NXT talent. Jaida Parker has shone bright in NXT's women's ranks, often called the top crew in all of wrestling. She burst onto the scene in 2022 and blew up fast with a viral entrance early on. Now, she's a key player in the NXT women's division. No word on when she might head to the main roster, and it doesn't look like there's a huge gap waiting for her just yet. As for main event Jey Uso, Wrestle Palooza was rough. He got busted open and took the pin after crashing through a table. Once the bell rang, refs, Jimmy Uso, and a doc at ringside rushed to check him out, as it seemed like he might have some real issues. Did Jey Uso really get injured? Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso came up short against The Vision in a wild tag team scrap at WWE Wrestle Palooza. Bron Breakker sealed it with a spear on the Yeet Master, pinning him for the win. But right before the end, Jey got caught in a nasty mishap that left him busted open. It went down when the ex-World Heavyweight Champion swung a steel chair at Bron Breakker's back. The chair ricocheted straight into Jey's face, splitting his head wide. That wild moment kicked off talk of a legit injury for the Yeet Master at Wrestle Palooza. WWE hasn't dropped an official health check on Jey yet, but it sure looks like getting bloody wasn't in the plan. The gash might have even rushed the matches close. Moments later, Breakker nailed the spear and pinned Jey to grab the victory for his squad. The quick wrap-up screams that what went down at Wrestle Palooza was a total accident, a scary screw-up. Even so, the cut probably won't bench Jey from TV for long. The Yeet Master should still hit Monday Night Raw and keep his red brand tail rolling. What's in store for the Usos after dropping the ball at the Indianapolis Bash? After the fresh defeat, the Usos plan to keep battling the Vision until Roman Reigns storms back. The OTC got wrecked by Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed at Clash in Paris, and when the ex-undisputed WWE champion shows up, he'll chase payback. Plenty figure the Usos and Roman Reigns will join forces against the Vision at WWE Survivor Series 2025 in a War Games showdown. That means the bad blood between the Usos and the Vision has legs to run. On top of that, WWE aims to push the story of Jey's dark side tease. The Yeet Master's vibe has flipped hard lately, and Big Jim even called him out like the OTC for his wild moves. Post Wrestle Palooza flop, the bad vibes between Jey and Jimmy could boil over on Monday Night Raw. Right now, though, that's just a hunch. Concern as Iyo Sky gets legitimately injured. Sky might have taken a real hit during her showdown with Stephanie Baker at WWE Wrestlepalooza. The two went head-to-head for the Women's World Championship spot. After some holdups, the genius of the Sky stepped up against La Primera to see who would step in for Naomi as the new champ. It was the dream match fans had been waiting for, pitting two of today's top talents against each other. In the thick of it, Baker zeroed in on Sky's right knee with a pair of sharp dragon screws. The ex-champ played up the pain, clutching her knee, but worry spread ringside, especially from Michael Cole and Wade Barrett calling the action. Those dragon screws clearly gave Stephanie Baker the edge she needed. Sky struggled to move freely after that, missing her big over-the-moonsault on Baker. Sky managed to scale the ropes and drop La Primera with an avalanche Spanish fly, but the knee throbbed, slowing her down from jumping on the chance. Baker smartly turned it around, nailing a stunning corkscrew moonsault to snag the win and claim the Women's World title. With WrestlePalooza hitting Indianapolis, Indiana Pacers star Tyrese Halliburton showed up in the crowd. As Sky made her entrance for the Baker clash, Michael Cole shouted out that the genius of the Sky is Halliburton's go-to WWE pick. Barrett chimed in on how rough it gets for stars like Sky from overseas to win over US crowds. Cole put it simple: pro wrestling speaks its own tongue, and Sky mastered it to turn into a crowd darling. The old pro even dubbed her the top talent out there right now. Sky had been unstoppable leading into WrestlePalooza, boasting runs with both the WWE Women's and Women's World titles under her belt. Naomi confirms her WWE return date. Naomi's been off WWE screens for a month now, taking time away for her pregnancy. The former Women's World Champion just dropped a major clue about when fans can catch her back on TV. While chilling at home during WrestlePalooza, Naomi was live tweeting, sharing her raw thoughts with the wrestling crew. She lit up over the news that Stephanie McMahon is headed to the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2026, a bombshell The Undertaker laid on the billion-dollar princess right at the show, totally catching her off guard. Tons of WWE stars cheered the call, and Naomi was all in. She swore she'd be there for Stephanie's big moment, no matter what. The ceremony's set for April, the night before WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. Naomi's due to welcome her and Jimmy Uso's baby around then, and she cracked a joke about maybe even having the baby at the Hall of Fame. She's so set on showing up. If I have the baby at the Hall of Fame, will y'all help me BC I can't miss mothers at Steph McMahon induction, she wrote. As long as she's fit to travel, Naomi's locked in for the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. But when it comes to stepping back into the ring, the former champ might not be back until late next year or early 2027. Naomi had to give up the Women's World Championship because of her pregnancy. That title was up for grabs at WrestlePalooza, where Stephanie Baker outshined Sky in a pure wrestling gem. La Primera was supposed to face the real-life Bloodline star at Clash in Paris, but had to wait for her shot. When it came, Baker delivered. She and Sky shared a touching show of respect after the bell. What's next for the genius of the Sky after WrestlePalooza, though, is anyone's guess. CM Punk breaks down in tears after AJ Lee's first win in WWE in a decade. CM Punk and AJ Lee joined forces at WrestlePalooza 2025, and they pulled off a big win, just like many hoped. AJ Lee shone bright, and Punk was left crying tears of joy after the match. In the co-main event, the duo took on the heavy-hitting pair of Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. They rolled out with a killer entrance, but the champ couple were the ones to beat, with folks thinking AJ might be slowed by ring rust after over a decade away. That didn't happen. She crushed it, showing she can still run with the best in today's women's division, which is miles ahead of where it was when she ruled the roost. When AJ locked in the Black Widow to make Becky Lynch tap out, Punk didn't just cheer. He broke down sobbing, over the moon for his wife's first WWE win in over 10 years. Punk's been all about lifting AJ up in this feud, telling Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins he was cool coming out to her lighted up theme and letting her steal the show. He's been her biggest cheerleader, hyping her like no one else. He even rocked a jacket that screamed "A Jay's husband," showing how much he looks up to her. Married for over a decade since tying the knot in 2014, their romance sparked fast back then. Now they're one of WWE's top power couples, and AJ Lee might just be first in line for a shot at the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Bron Breakker nearly gets WWE canceled. Paul Heyman forced to apologize. WWE Wrestlepalooza had a huge tag team clash with Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed battling a reunited Jimmy and Jey Uso, and LA Knight serving as the special guest referee. The brutal fight wrapped up with Bronson Reed pinning the ex-World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso to grab the win for the Vision. The Vision hit the post-show spotlight to brag about their triumph when Breakker tangled with a fan. The former Intercontinental Champion blasted one spectator as fat and disgusting, a slip that nearly torched his career and dragged WWE into hot water. To dodge the storm, WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman jumped in quick, cutting off Breakker and pointing out that the fan he targeted, figuring it was a dude, was really a woman. Heyman followed up with an apology before steering the talk elsewhere. He nipped the blow-up in the bud, but it's anyone's guess if WWE will slap the former Intercontinental Champion with punishment for his harsh words. We'll see soon enough what the company cooks up for the hothead. Fresh off crushing the Usos, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed could be eyeing fresh prey. The Usos might shift gears to scrap with LA Knight after he clashed with Jey mid-match. With the Vision's boss, Seth Rollins, locked in for the Crown Jewel Championship chase, Breakker and Reed might tag along to hoist him to another gold, stacking his shelf higher and cranking up the group's iron grip. Everyone's on edge now, waiting to catch what WWE rolls out next for Rollins, Breakker, and Reed. Seth Rollins angry at Paul Heyman for reuniting with Brock Lesnar behind his back. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman linked back up at WWE Wrestlepalooza, but that choice could come back to bite the Oracle hard. The WWE Hall of Famer runs with Seth Rollins' Vision crew, and cozying up to the beast behind the Visionary's back might spell big trouble. Heyman could pay a steep price for sneaking around with Lesnar. Here are 3 ways his sneaky move at the Wrestlepalooza Premium Live event might blow up in his face. One big hit Heyman could take after teaming with Brock Lesnar is getting booted from the Vision. The World Heavyweight Champion might swap out the Oracle for his real-life wife, Becky Lynch, who jumped into the heel squad at WWE Clash in Paris. Lynch wouldn't just join up, she could steal Heyman's spot in the group. She's already got the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and handing her Heyman's gig in the Vision would be a smart way to keep her busy on Monday Night Raw. After rolling out Brock Lesnar at WWE Wrestlepalooza, Paul Heyman stuck by Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed in their scrap with the Usos. Even so, Breakker and Reed might cut Heyman loose from the group on Seth Rollins' say-so. Back in the day, Heyman got tossed from Solo Sikoa's Bloodline crew when he wouldn't drape the Ulafala around Sikoa's neck or call him the Tribal Chief. He could face the same rough exit from the Vision, complete with a savage beatdown as payback. The Usos took a tough loss at the Premium Live event, but Paul Heyman's shady play could spark a wild turn. To check Heyman's loyalty to the Vision, Rollins might stick him in a tight spot. The Hall of Famer could get thrown into a handicap match against the Samoan brothers as punishment. Heyman's tangled in brawls before, forced to step into the ring. To prove he's still on board, Seth might shove the Oracle into the same mess. If the old Wiseman backs out, Rollins could crank up the heat even more.